Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Ages Kingdom. In this class, I would like to take the topic from nutrition, second semester. I just want to discuss about the classification of nutrients. It is under the syllabus of first unit. So we will just discuss what is the classification. It is given according to the nutrition classification, how they have classified into different categories, under which category, which kind of nutrients are classified. We will just discuss here. So when we classify the nutrients under groups, it is classified as a two types. It is macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients means the nutrients are required in large quantity and it plays a very important role in our day-to-day life for the nourishment of the body. Whereas micronutrients means, so this call it as a nutrients are very essential, but if we take it as in a small quantity. Best example, salt. Salt is a component of mineral which is having a sodium, which we take it as a small quantity. Whereas carbohydrate we take it as in a large quantity, so that's called it as a macronutrients. And another classification is micronutrients. So macronutrients are classified as carbohydrates, proteins as well as fat. So these three classified as a macronutrients. Micronutrients means vitamins and minerals. It are very essential for the nourishment of the body, but we take it as a small quantity. That's why we call it as micronutrients. So let's move on to the other classification of the same thing, which is also here we can say. So carbohydrate, fat and proteins are called macronutrients. They are the nutrients you see in a large amounts. So macronutrients are the nutritive components of food that the body needs for energy and maintain the body structure and system. Here I would like to say the word very clearly. It is important for the energy and maintenance of the body structure. Maintenance of body structure and system. Suppose if you take a good carbohydrate diet, it helps in maintenance of your body. Like instead of lean, you will maintain some good physique. And when you eat a protein, it helps in the body building and muscle building, and it gives energy also. Whereas whereas micronutrients may not give a structure to your body, but it is very essential nutrients. So let's see what is the other classification here. Macronutrients, best example carbohydrates. So here we can, the image itself is showing like rice, potato, wheat, this all combinations we call it as a carbs, carbohydrates. And fats means any oil like olive oil, sunflower oil or groundnut oil, any oil components comes as a fats. And the protein means here it can come from the animal based or it can be from the plant based also. If it is a animal based, we call them as fish or mutton, chicken, egg, everything. Or protein can be getting from plant based also, like all pulses we call them as proteins. All pulses we call them as proteins. So I think we have got the enough information about macronutrients. And here you can see some of the nutrients which are comes under macronutrients as well as micronutrients also. Suppose fish is having a vitamin E. So it is a good source of protein as well as it's a good source of even vitamin also. So if you take like a pomegranate or if you take a grape, grape will give carbohydrate as well as it is even helping for the vitamin C supplementation. So like this, some components are there which are helping in the micronutrients as well as macronutrients. And you can see micronutrients. Micronutrients are minerals and vitamins which are called as a micronutrients since they are needed by the body in a small amounts. Already I have explained which are required in a small quantities. That's why we call it as micronutrients. And the minerals are, and the most of the vitamins our body needs must be obtained from the foods you eat since your body cannot make them. So some of the nutrients has to be consumed from the outside because it is not inbuilt produced by the body, inbuilt produced by the body, and which are essential for the nourishment of our skin or our muscles, our neurons, or some systems which are very important, like sodium is important for the heart rate. So in that case it is required even through external resources. Okay, so next we'll see micronutrients and macronutrients we have classified. And minerals, if you take an example, iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium. These are the examples of some minerals. Iron, calcium, potassium, magnesium, and sodium. This is all called as a minerals. Okay, and if you take a vitamins, like it is again classified into water soluble vitamins and fat soluble vitamins, and again water soluble, fat soluble is A, D, K. So water soluble is B and C. So these are the different classifications we are going to see in the mineral and vitamins. These are called as a micronutrients. These are called as a micronutrients. So I think after all this understanding, you will come to know that what is the nutrients we are going to study according to the resources. So here you can see very clear picture. By chemical nature, if you want to classify, it is classified as carbohydrate, protein, fats, vitamins and minerals. And by functions in the body, it is classified as a energy giving body, energy giving carbohydrates, then body building proteins and protective fats. And by chemical nature, if you want to classify, it is classified as organic and inorganic. Means whether the food cultivation is through using the chemicals or natural resources. If you are using with the cultivation by the natural resources, we call them as organic, where we are not using any pesticides or any chemicals. Or inorganic means we are using some fertilizers or some hormones or some materials to cultivate the food, or animal based or plant based, that we call it as an inorganic. By mass, we call them as macro or micronutrients. By origin, from where they are getting, is we can call it as a plant based or animal based. Or by nutritive value, again we are classified into 12 categories, which I mentioned already several times: carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, water soluble, then fat soluble. Like that we can classify. And this is about a classification of food items. So, and in this only I just want to discuss about, even already I have discussed about what is organic food. Organic food is that are produced, processed, packed without using any chemicals, including the vegetables such as fruits, milk, meat, or anything, we call it as an organic food. So here we are not using any chemical substances for cultivation or for processing or for production or for packing. It is all happening in the natural resources. Nowadays in all supermarkets we can see the word organic foods. It is too expensive also. Actually the food items which are labeled as organic food, they are not using any chemicals. So they are very double expensive than the normal products. Whereas inorganic foods means they are using some chemicals, fertilizers or pesticides or some hormones to increase the growth of the crop. They are using for processing, production, storing and preservation. Everything they are using some chemicals, that we call it as inorganic food. So we can see a slide also. Inorganic food means what? What do you mean by inorganic nutrients? We are using some chemicals, so to promote the growth of the aquatic plants. And another classification also we can say, like nutrients are classified into energy yielding nutrients or non-energy yielding nutrients. The word itself is saying, I would like to say, some nutrients give energy to our body for day-to-day activity. Some nutrients are giving just a build-up of our body or giving a support, that's called it as a non-energy yielding food. So when we speak about energy yielding nutrients, it gives capacity to work, especially calories, which is measured in the units. For instance, carbohydrates 4 kilocalories per gram, fat 9 kilocalories per gram, and protein 4 kilocalories per gram. So these are very essential for giving energy. That's why we call it as a energy yielding foods. Whereas non-energy nutrients means vitamins, water, minerals, we call them as non-energy yielding foods. So this is all about different classification of nutrients, and based on their nature, chemical natures, based on their resources availability. So thank you for watching. If you really like my class, please do subscribe, and hereafter I am going to post so many classes like this according to the INC syllabus. Thank you.